Hi, and welcome to Jen Savage Fitness. Today's focus is going to be on building a strong upper body. Okay, we've got 4 moves on the docket. We've got an Arnold Press, we have a bicep curl, a tricep kickback, and a row. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do each of the moves, and we're going to do each of them 10 reps, 3 times through. All right, so let's dive into a nice little warm up, get that upper body moving. We want to do some shoulder rolls. So, really, as you get into this, elevate those shoulders up, drive those steps back and down. We want to do about 5 down and back. And then let's reverse it. We are going to just be building those muscles to help us lift, carry, and live our life, right? And so we're going to do those forward now. Let's give ourselves some hugs. I like to alternate this as you go. Just kind of opens up that chest and opens up that back really nicely. All right, and now we're going to have our hands wide like a goalpost, right? We're going to bring them together so those palms are facing us. Open them wide, rotate them down, and then hug our sides. Up, around, close. And this one's a little tricky at times. So if you're like, Jen, I don't know what you're doing. I didn't know it for the first few times either, right? It takes some practice. So the goal of this is always just progress, right? And so you're not going to find a lot of fancy music or anything with this workout. It's simply as if you had your personal trainer, me, there in your home working you through the mechanics and the movements so that you build a stronger self, right? So that's what the goal. If you want to build those muscles, we want to hinge. Now we're going to do one more move. We're going to hinge at those hips. We're going to elevate our hands up, thumbs up for an I, thumbs up for a Y, thumbs up for a T. Really activating those back muscles here. And if you want to make fists or go hitchhiking, by all means, do what works for you. And we're going to do just one more here. I, Y, and T. All right, we're going to dive in to our first round. Now I'm going to talk you through each move. So let's get started with the Arnold Press. Now I grabbed 15s for this. And you might want to go a little bit lighter if this is a new move for you, right? The goal is to be able to move through the positioning and all that with safety and control. So pick a weight that you can control safely and effectively. What we're going to do is we are going to bring those up so that our palms are facing us. We have those elbows kind of pinned to the side. Palms are facing up. Now from here, as we press upward, we want to rotate those palms away from us. All right. And then as we lower down, we're rotating back toward us and then rotating up and away. So we have 10 reps of this. Let's dive in. We're going to press up and there's one. All right. So think about this too. A lot of times I see people wanting to shrug their shoulders. I want you to think about keeping those shoulders down as far as keeping that neck long, right? Keeping those upper traps out of it. Here's 5, halfway there. 6, 7. Now you might notice too, as you get in this 8, that you are like, oh man, that's heavy. 9 and 10. What I want you to think about when you're doing that is really squeezing that core, activating that core and squeezing those glutes, not as far as like hyperextending those knees. We always want to keep a little micro bend in those knees, but I want you to brace that core, almost giving a little pelvic tuck there, and then squeeze those glutes together. And that is going to help give you a little bit more stability in that move, okay? Our next one is going to be a bicep curl. So we are going to stand with our weights down to either side. And you want to think about your elbows. So I'll turn sideways. When those elbows, you want to keep them pointing down. So the weights should really only come up to about chest height. Okay. So if you come up higher, notice what happens with those elbows. They start pointing forward, and we want to keep them in that loaded position. We want to keep those biceps in that loaded position. So keeping those elbows pointed down. We have 10 reps. So if you're like, oh, 10, I don't know about this one, pick a weight that you can control. And then if you're like, okay, I picked the wrong weight, you can either go up because the weight was too light, or you can drop to a lighter weight that will help you make sure that you are keeping that form. So let's dive in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you give them that bicep a little squeeze at the top. 5. Lowering with control. 6. 7. When you're lowering down, there's a lot of work that's happening there too. There's 8. 9. That's the eccentric work, right? Concentric, 10. And eccentric is that lower. All right, so we're going to set those weights down in between sets. I did not do that at first, but feel free to do that. Our next move is going to be a tricep kickback, okay? So if you need to adjust the weights, now's a good time to do that. What we're going to do in this move, I will straddle Agnes here. I have friends that come to work out with me every day. We are going to hinge at those hips. So simply driving those hips back, engaging those glutes, bracing that core, bringing those elbows up, okay? So you want to think about your torso almost parallel to the floor, okay? It can be up slightly, but you want to think about keeping it down because that's where the work is going to happen. What we're going to do is drive back and give a little pause at that top and then lower again with control, all right? We have 10 reps. Let's dive in. Here we go. We're going to hinge, pull those elbows up, keep those pinched as if you've got your phone in your armpit, right? And you don't want it to drop. There's 1. You also don't want to see any rocking with this move. So there's 3, 4, 5. Try and keep that head in the nice neutral spine too. 6, 7. So that helps if you look about 3 to 5 feet in front of you. 9 and 10. Just to keep that back flat, that spine, or that back nice and flat and long, but also keeping that head and neck in alignment, okay? So if you think about kind of gazing about 3 to 5 feet in front of you, that's always a really good position. All right, we have 1 move left. And then we can say we are done with our first set. We have 3 sets. So the last move of this round is a row. So once again, we're going to get into that hinged position. So we are going to have our feet about hip width apart, hinge at those hips, and we want to make sure that our knees are staying in alignment with those toes. We want to pull up and then lower down, okay? Our row is pulling up, like we're pulling to our pockets, and then lowering down. We have 10 reps. All right, rotate those shoulder blades down and back. Let's get that nice hinged position, maintaining that flat back, looking about 3 to 5 feet in front of us. And then we're going to pull. We're thinking about pulling those weights up to our pockets. All right, so as we go, 3, we just want to kind of almost trace for those quads. 5, 6, 7, and if you're feeling this in your low back, 8, you need to make sure that you are really engaging those glutes and in a good hinged position. And just like that, it's 10, okay? So set number 1 is done. But as I was saying, in that hinged position, if you start to round, that's where that back is going to come into play. So we want to make sure and keep that out of it, okay? Let's dive on in to set number 2. All right, now set number 2 is probably going to be a little bit faster because now we know the moves, right? I've done the coaching with the moves, but also we're just going to keep going, thinking about maintaining that proper form as we pick up our weights. All right, we have the Arnold Press. Remember, we want those palms facing us. We want to have that core brace, squeeze those glutes, and now we're going to press for 10, and we rotate up. 1, 2, keeping those upper traps out of it so that neck is nice and long. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. How did that feel? I'm sure you're like, oh, Jen, that was feeling spicy. It does. That one is a great one, you know, built by the Arnold Schwarzenegger himself for just really working that shoulder strength, working that upper body, that mobility as well, especially those shoulder mobility. That is key. All right. So now we're going to dive into that bicep curl. Now, let's pick up those weights again. We're going to hold those weights down in front of us, palms facing away. We want to make sure that we have those elbows pointed down throughout. All right, there's 2. Remember, we just come up to about chest height, so we don't come up further. And we want to control that descent. There's 5. We're halfway already. 6 and 7. Make sure that you've got those shoulder blades down and back. 8, 9, bracing that core, squeezing those glutes, and 10. That one, sometimes we'll see a little rocking as you're like, oh, I'm getting tired. That is the indication that you want to drop the weights a little bit, okay? Because what that's doing, it's just you're using the rest of your body to build momentum into that. And we want to make sure that we are just focused on the gum show, all right? So now we've got our tricep kickback. We're going to work that back part of the arm. Here we go. We are going to get into that nice hinged position. Remember, keeping that back nice and flat, bringing those elbows up to a 90. And now we're simply kicking that forearm back for 1, 2, 3, once again, 4, keeping that positioning. There shouldn't be a lot of rocking, if any at all. You want to keep solid and steady throughout this movement. There's 9 and 10. All right, we are to the row again. All right, once again, we're going to repeat that hinged position. So we will get into that nice hinge and we're going to pull towards the pockets. Are you ready? Let's go. And 1, squeezing that back at the top. 2, really trying to engage those lats. 3, 4, 5, lowering with control. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just like that, set 2 is done. We have 1 more set, and then you get to enjoy the rest of your day. All right, so think through that. How did it go? Were there some things that you thought, hey, I felt that in a new way? And sometimes it's just reiterating all those cues that I'm going to give you as you go through the move so that you are feeling completely in control and safe the entire time. It is time to dive into our 3rd and final set. All right, you know the 4 moves, you know the cueing. Let's rock it out, okay? So the first one is that Arnold press. So let's grab those weights. We're going to hold them in front of us and we're going to just drop right on in. Remember, core braced, glutes squeezed, micro bend in those knees, and press for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How's that feeling? 8, 9, and 10. And just like that, we only have 3 minutes to go. Should we just dive in? Bicep curl, 10 reps. Let's go for it. Because this is the moments we've been waiting for, right? To show how strong we truly are. Now remember, rotate those shoulder blades down and back. Keep those shoulders in that nice position. Elbows pinned to the side. And let's curl. 1, 2. Make sure and slow down as you come down. 3. Core brace. 4. Glute squeeze. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're almost there. 9 and 10. And just like that, we'll suck those weights down as we get ready to dive into that hinge position for our tricep kickbacks, and then ending off with a row. So hopefully this hinging position is feeling a little bit more comfortable for you now, right? Sometimes it just takes a minute to learn that. I hear a lot of times I feel it in my back. If you're feeling it in your back, that's because you're not activating those glutes, right? I want you to think about almost like you're opening a pickle jar with your feet, but keeping that tripod foot fully engaged, right? You've got the base of the big toe, base of the little toe, and that heel, and you are just cranking out. That's going to keep those knees in that nice alignment between those second and third toes. It's also going to activate that glute med and that glute max as you hinge forward. So let's pick up those weights. I'll show you from the side again that we are going to hinge. We are driving those weights up. And here we go. We're going to kick back for 1 and 2. Make sure that there's not much rocking. 4, giving a little pause at the top. 5, 6. If you notice some rocking, then I want you to lower those weights. 8, 9, and 10. All right. So remember with that hinge, and as you're in that, sometimes you'll see those knees start to collapse as you're focused on driving those weights back. I want to make sure, if you need to, grab a band and just use that as a reference, right? Sometimes just having those touch points on our bodies help us to be like, oh, that's what I need to do. I need to make sure that I'm driving out against that. So think about utilizing the resources that you have available to you, okay? Our last one here is the row. We have our last 10 reps. How proud are you? All right, rotate those shoulder blades down and back. We are going to hinge, and we're going to drive those weights up for 1 to our pockets. That nice strong hinge again. Remember, we are keeping that back flat, core engaged. There's 5, 6, squeezing that back, utilizing those lats. 8, 9, and 10. Toss those weights aside and give yourself some love. All right, this is gonna feel so good right now because A, you're done, right? B, you're giving yourself the love that you deserve. You should be so proud of yourself for showing up. Take one arm across, just kind of pull that shoulder around, and then switch sides, pull that shoulder over. Now what I want you to think about is, in this position, as we're kind of stretching out those triceps, try reaching for that same side shoulder blade, right? That will help you get into it just a little bit more. All right, switch arms. Once again, reaching for that same side shoulder blade. And you can stretch out those biceps a little bit. They did a little bit of work today.
They did a little bit of work today. All right. I just want you to know I'm so proud of you for showing up. Keep on doing that. The goal is always progress. And every single time you show up, you are making exactly that. You are making that progress. You are building that muscle. So keep on going and know you got this. If you love this, definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe button so that we can continue to build this community to